When we receive a PCOS diagnosis and start looking for help, we turn to what feels familiar, the medical world, which is built around specialists, right? There are gynecologists, endocrinologists, dermatologists, dietitians, psychologists, cardiologists. We've got a lot of ologists, right? And each specialist focuses on one particular area of the body or one particular symptom. So what happens is we begin moving between them, trying to solve PCOS symptom by symptom. So we might try hormonal birth control to regulate or force cycles, metformin for insulin resistance, weight loss plans or restrictive diets, supplements for ovulation, skin, hair or blood sugar, fertility treatments to try to conceive, advice around exercise, sleep and nutrition, dermatologists for acne or hair growth, endocrinologists or gynecologists to monitor hormones in ovaries. And these approaches can absolutely have an important place, but they are not the holistic experience or lens actually needed to heal PCOS at the root or to truly get unstuck in both our health and our lives. Now, here is why. Inside all of us, we have what's called an autonomic nervous system. I like to think of the autonomic nervous system as the engine that runs our body. Just like an engine runs a car in the background, this system is running all of your bodily functions automatically. So your digestion, your hormones, metabolism, immune system, your reproductive system, all of it. And this system has one primary job: to keep you safe and alive at all costs. It is completely devoted to your survival. So devoted that it will redirect energy away from healing, hormone balance and regulation and put that energy toward protection if it believes you are not safe. So this system does not just influence the health of your body, it creates it, which means the symptoms we associate with PCOS, like irregular cycles, hormone imbalances, fatigue, anxiety, inflammation, fertility struggles, weight challenges, these are all expressions of dysregulation or active self-protection within our autonomic nervous system. Essentially, that just means a lot of us have nervous systems that don't yet know we are safe. And when our system doesn't yet feel safe, it can't access healing. And just changing your diet cannot regulate your nervous system. Medication and supplements cannot resolve symptoms being created by chronic dysregulation or active self-protection. And this is just what science and lots of research confirms for us. So I want to explain why. So when you get a diagnosis and you decide what to do, you are connecting to the cortical thinking brain. If you can just take your hands and place them on your forehead here, this is your prefrontal cortex. This is the giant part of your mammalian brain. It's the front of our brains here that speaks the language of logic, right? So this is where logic happens. This is where you plan, this is where you problem solve, you figure things out. So when I'm gaining information and making decisions, that's the system it's being computed through. But your autonomic nervous system, this engine I talked about that lives inside of you, that governs the health of your body and creates your symptoms, it doesn't live here. It lives in your body. It is subcortical, meaning it's operating outside of and below the cortical thinking brain. So whilst your thinking brain is very busy making all the decisions about what to eat, what to take, what to do, your body is running on a completely different program. And that is the disconnect and the conflict most of us are living in without even realizing it. So where we get into a bit of a pickle is there is this logical assumption that if I do this, it will change that. If I find that perfect approach, that right combination of things and the right plan, my body will then respond and I will be free. As if our body is just waiting for us to make this happen, right? And maybe things do improve briefly, but then symptoms return, right? And it feels like it's your fault. So what do? You try harder in the same direction and you tell yourself, I just need more discipline, more perfection, and I just need to stick to this, right? And this is how we unknowingly get stuck managing symptoms, as the autonomic nervous system creating the symptoms remains unchanged. So many of us have been trying to diet our way out of dysregulation, supplement our way out, medicate our way out, think our way out, even shame ourselves out of it, even love ourselves out of an experience happening in the autonomic nervous system. But the nervous system simply cannot hear us there. If that was you, that was me too. I spent over a decade trying to do that, and it is exhausting. And I can tell you it does not work. Personally, but also from a scientific level, it doesn't. So what do we actually need? What we need is to work at the level of the nervous system that is creating symptoms. So what we need is what is called somatic experience, which sounds kind of fancy, but somatic just means body. So somatic experience means working directly with the body and the nervous system through felt experience, because felt experience is the language of the nervous system, the system creating all of your symptoms. And I just want to give you an example of somatic experience so you know what I mean. So let's say you wanted to garden. Right? Now, a cognitive experience is reading the books, watching the videos, taking the courses, and attending the lectures that just provide a cognitive experience of absorbing information into your prefrontal cortex, right? And that means that you never actually garden. So you learn a lot of concepts of gardening, and you can actually become a real expert in gardening without ever actually gardening. And that is a cognitive experience. A somatic experience would be a program that I would probably teach, because my work is in somatics, where we just ditch the books and instead we step into the garden and put our hands into the soil and you're touching the earth, right? I don't actually know anything about gardening, but just go with me here. So you're noticing what the environment needs, right? You're planting the bulbs, you're planting the seeds, right? You're tending to the roots, right? You're observing how much moisture is needed, how much water. And then you watch the flowers bloom, right? Or you watch the fruit, yeah? And then you eat it. So you're learning through sensing, right? Through the embodied felt experience. And that is how the nervous system learns too, because that is the language of our autonomic nervous system, the only language it understands, right? And that's why I often say we have to show, not tell our nervous system that we are safe, because safety is your state of being in regulation, which we'll talk about more in the next episode. And safety doesn't happen through thinking or telling, meaning we can't just say, I'm safe, everything is safe, the part is over, I'm safe. Safety isn't something you affirm your way into. The nervous system doesn't change just because the mind understands something logically, right? The way that the nervous system updates is through repeated experience in the body over time in conditions of genuine safety. So to heal PCOS at the root, first we need to understand this engine that lives inside of us, as we can't change what we don't understand, right? And second, we need to learn how to attune to getting into the driver's seat of it to gain agency of our vehicle, our body. Because as I've said before, we learn so much in our schooling, right? So many things. But if no one taught you about this engine that you know now is literally creating your symptoms and literally creates your whole lived experience, it's literally creating your whole experience right now. If no one teaches you about this system, it's like it takes over on cruise control and you fly into the back seat of the car and it's driving your health and your life for you. And it's not doing that to cause you harm or to make life hard for you. It's doing that because its only job is to protect you. It loves you so much and all it cares about is keeping you safe and alive at all costs. Its only job is your survival. So this is the only embodied way, the foundational way to heal PCOS at the root. It's the work that literally allowed me to show my nervous system that I was safe. And the result of that is in 2014, the PCOS diagnosis was eventually removed from my medical records as there was no trace of it left. And there is nothing special about me or my system. I just know firsthand how powerful it is to work at the level of your nervous system. And that shift wasn't just physical for me. I could step into my life's calling. I could build healthy relationships. I could begin living in a way that has always felt out of reach. And that is exactly why I do the work that I do. I know what it's like to feel suffering and stuck and disconnected, to feel like a stranger in your own body and exhausted from trying everything. And I also know what it's like to move on from that, to actually getting unstuck, to feel present, alive, well in your body. And there is nothing I care more about than helping you to experience that too. Thank you so much for being here with me. Share in the comments, are you still trying to do more to heal, or are you showing your body that it's safe enough to? I'd love to hear from you. Bye for now.